Welcome to another episode of Sparks and Blues, the podcast where we dive into the dynamic world of business leadership, innovation, and transformation. Today, we're exploring the topic navigating the C-suites in corporate organizations with an exceptional guest whose journey exemplifies strategic leadership and adaptability. Dr. Moyosore Olomola brings a wealth of experience to the conversation. A medical doctor by training and a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. He transitioned from clinical practice into healthcare management, carving out a remarkable career in the corporate world. From his early days as a care coordinator at Hija HMO to his current role as managing director of Redcare HMO. Dr. Olomola has spent over 15 years mastering the art of leading high-performing teams and steering organizations toward growth and success. Known for his strategic vision, business acumen, and results-oriented approach, Dr. Olomola has excelled in managing complex healthcare operations and redefining organizational objectives in both private and public sectors. Join us as we unpack his insights, strategies, and experiences navigating the corporate C-suites while driving innovations and achieving excellence. Welcome to another episode of Sparks and Blues, where we carefully select trailblazers who are doing exceedingly well in their chosen fields and beyond, where we invite well-educated and experienced career-driven people to come into the program to share their views, share their real-life stories, talk to us about their experiences, and in the way of doing that, they are able to inspire our numerous guests and viewers by their real-life stories and their experiences. We are delving into a topic that we think is quite significant today, because in our career and in our work life, a lot of people are looking up to rising in their career to the apex levels, but they find it challenging, they find it a bit confusing, and then people need information. And we've been talking to a couple of CEOs, having like a series with them, because no two CEOs would have similar stories. We believe that the more chief executives we bring on board, the more C-suite guys we bring on board would enable us put together a more robust outlook for our viewers. And that is why today we are going to be looking at how our guest has been navigating his role as the MD CEO of Redcare HMO. Our guest today in the studio is no other than Dr. Moyosore Olomola. You're welcome to the studios today, Dr. Moyo. I'm happy to have you here.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I look forward to what we'll be sharing together.
Nice one. That's good. I believe we're going to be having some intense conversations around what you've been doing and how you've been moving around your role. And I believe our viewers are really going to be inspired because you are definitely filled up with wealth of experience.
Well, thank you very much for that opportunity.
You're welcome.
Glad about it.
So yeah, we'll just delve into things. You've been the CEO for Redcare HMO for how long now?
For about 5 years now, I've been a Redcare HMO.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. That's a huge time, and I believe that's enough time for you to tell us real life stories. So yes, I'll just delve into your questions, and the first one is usually basic. I would like you to talk to our viewers about your journey. How did you grow from graduating as a medical doctor and then coming up through the ranks, becoming the MD CEO of a renowned HMO in Nigeria?
Right, great. All right, so, I think I would like to start with my, journey from medical school. I graduated from the Obafemi Awolowo University in 1998 as a medical doctor. And first thing I did was to do my housemanship at Wesley Guild Hospitals at Elisha. And then I did my NYIC to go to Yola.
Wow.
Yeah, for my NYIC.
Things were still quite safe then.
Well, things were safe then, and the insecurity was not really everywhere then.
Everywhere.
So I spent a year there in Yola.
Wow.
And then I came back to Lagos thereafter. to start my clinical practice.
Okay.
Well, I ran around Lagos a little bit. I didn't really get much. So I went back to my alma mater, the Moyosore Olomola University. They have a health center there. So I worked at the health center at Moyosore University for 5 years.
That's
Yes, as a
impressive.
clinician, I was a medical officer. Well, I was aspiring to be a senior medical officer at some point, and well, that was the time I started to do my international exams.
Okay.
So I did my PLAB. I went to England
Oh,
to
good.
do my PLAB. Interestingly, I did very well in my PLAB. I got a letter of recommendation from the General Medical Council.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That's
all my
impressive.
intentions then was that I would settle down in England and practice there.
What changed?
Yes. So what changed was the fact that, well, I started out a family. I'd gotten married in Nigeria just before leaving for England, and I had very young children, twin boys, and
Wow.
that was the center of my world.
Definitely.
So I was thinking that I would move my family to England at some point, but because of the fact that I didn't want to leave them alone for just too long, I came back to Nigeria
I
again
can relate.
after doing my exams, and then when I got back to Nigeria, I didn't want to practice at the University Health Center anymore. I wanted more than that, so I moved to Lagos fully, my family, and then I started practicing at the Lagoon Clinic in Victoria Island as a medical officer again. So while working at the Lagoon Clinic in Victoria Island, I used to have a lot of high net worth patients then, and one of them talked to me at some point about introduced me to the HMO business. And I found that very interesting because while I was a medical student, I'd always thought of how one could do much more than what I saw my senior colleagues then, the resident doctors, doing. I wanted to see how I could impact on more lives than the few I would see at the clinic as a clinician. So I got curious about what the HMO was all about. She told me about IGI HMO. So I ventured into that. I went to speak to the chief operations officer there at IGI HMO. And then she offered me a job. So that was how I
How you
became
got
a care
into health
coordinator,
insurance. Oh, wow.
at IGI HMO. That's how I got into the HMO business. And that was in 2006. So having started as a care coordinator, I began to get more interested in what I was doing. I wanted to learn so much more about how everything happened, within that industry, within that healthcare space. So at some point, within the first 6 months of me being at IGEA, the opportunity came for a regional office to be opened in Warri then. And because of the issues that happened in Warri about the crisis, the tribal crisis there, a lot of people were unwilling to go. So we needed someone to volunteer to go. I remember
Took
at
you
that
both
meeting,
there.
yeah, I remember raising my hand that I would go. I would like to, face that challenge. And that's how I moved from Lagos to
So how
Warri.
challenging was that experience for you? Saying that you're from the southwest and
Well,
then you just took
yeah,
the bold step to just move to the
to a
south
new region,
south.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, in life,
How long were you there?
I was there for 5.5 years, almost 6 years.
That's some good time.
So I think that speaks to my personality. In life, I believe that a lot of times things that would turn out to be good may seem challenging at the onset.
Initial time.
So I had seen that there were a lot of issues around having to start off an office in a place like that. But I also believed in myself being able to overcome these things if I put myself to it, if I put my heart to it. So I moved in with a lot of vigor,
Wow.
a lot of, should I say, inner strength, a focused mindset.
Tenacity, determination.
Determination. So,
And then you were successful.
yes, I was successful because, I got there. I had to look for a physical office to start out with. I had to employ people to work with. Got a receptionist, front desk personnel, got a sales personnel, got a doctor to also join me there. I built the team there, and I also trained them.
That's quite
Towards
impressive.
efficiency, and delivering on our objectives. And after spending 5.5 years there, at some point, the management of Hygia then called me back to Lagos, to come and head the national grid for care delivery. And that was when I was appointed to be the head of care delivery for Hygia HMO then. That was in 2012. So I spent the next 4 years there, navigating the course of managing the access to care for all our subscribers, all our enrollees then, members, having to go to hospitals nationwide. I was able to coordinate all of that. I had a lot of teams working with me, the teams at the regions and also the teams at the head office, making that happen.
That's some
And
big
yeah,
one.
so after 4 years of doing that, I was hungry for more challenges because I'm the kind of person that's always looking for how to do more than
Yearning for
what I'm
more.
able to,
Yeah, I
do
know
at any
that.
point
You've
in
got
time.
the energy, obviously.
Yeah, so I spoke to some of my allies in the industry, and an opportunity came up for me at Oceanic Health.
Okay.
So I stepped up to take a role at Oceanic Health as the group head of operations.
Okay.
For Oceanic Health, and yeah, that was a very challenging role then because most of my prior life had been spent being a medical doctor into healthcare administration proper, not really looking at the business
As it
side of
were.
it, as it were,
Not being responsible for figures.
for figure. Well, yeah, I could do
Earlier.
figures, in terms of utilization tracks and all. But now it had to do with
P&L.
directly, generating revenue,
Yeah.
chasing businesses, huge businesses at that. So I oversaw the business development arm of the business. I also oversaw the medical operations, unit as well.
That's
So they all reported to me. I also guided the HR human resources unit, and even at some point, I was also able to, oversee the underwriting, unit as well. So that exposed me to a lot that I had not been into prior to that. So while being there at Oceanic Health, I also got into board, antiques because I had to be a part of the, team attending board meetings. I had to present to the board directors at different times.
Wow.
So that also put me into the limelight of having to deal with returns to the investors and all of that, having to deal with that. So for me, it was very exciting, and it was an opportunity for me to also see the business in its entirety.
Wow.
So further to that, in 2019, I stopped at Oceanic Health towards the tail end of the year. And then I was called by the owners of Red Care, who also wanted me to now look at the role of being a managing director to see to the day-to-day running of the organization here. So that's how I came here into Red Care. And it's been an exciting journey since then because here now, I'm at the helm of all the affairs here. I see to the entirety of the business, having to make sure that the business continues to be productive and profitable. And also identifying with the fact that the brand has to be repositioned to be the leading HMO in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I continue to strive towards.
All right, Dr. Moyo, that sounds really fascinating and interesting to hear. You've definitely cut your teeth across a host of, sound HMOs that you've mentioned within the industry. And I strongly believe that definitely propelled you to be able to get to where you are today. I'm not surprised, that you are now leading Red Care HMO, and I believe that things are definitely doing well. Well done for that one. So yeah, what would you tell us your leadership style looks like?
Okay, so because of the nature of our environment and where we find ourselves, I'm not sure my leadership style has been just one, type,
Straitjacketed
type,
All right.
So it's changed over the years, but I would say the one I would hold on to strongly is the transformational leadership style. Reason being that it's the most adaptive leadership style. We have a lot of different generations that we have to deal with now.
Yeah.
I'm from the generation X, and then after us are the millennials, and then the Gen Zs,
And the Gen Alphas are
now the
coming.
Alphas are here, but even
I'm
about to go
concerned
because
about
by
them.
next year now the Alphas are done. The next generation after them are coming in. So
I wonder what the name would be.
yeah, I'm so curious about that too. Maybe beta, I'm not sure yet. But then again, having to deal with the different mindsets in these various generational groups takes a lot of understanding how to adapt to what their expectations are. So the transformational leadership style gives that opportunity to do that. Not to say that sometimes you won't switch. There are times when when you lead teams, because I've led various kinds of teams. There are times when you lead teams that you begin to appreciate the need to apply some other leadership style which is at variance to what your primary leadership style would be.
Yeah.
So sometimes I find myself being, well, I would say applying autocratic leadership,
When needed.
at some instances when needed. Sometimes I tend to be pragmatic about how I deliver my, leadership principles. Sometimes I even apply servant leadership.
Yeah.
I say servant leadership because I pride myself saying that I know how to do virtually everything in the HMO system because I've done it at some point in my career.
So you're quite hands-on.
Yeah, I'm hands-on on virtually everything. So I won't ask a staff of mine to do something that I don't know how to do.
That's
And
excellent.
I take my
That's really
time,
brilliant.
to also make sure that I handhold the person, to show the person how to do it. So it's something that I would say I do from time to time, in my leadership career.
That's really good and impressive because, especially the servant one, it turns out that the generations that you mentioned, the mix is super intensive these days when you come across them. And I think the servant leadership sort of helps them because people tend to want to feel, oh, this boss is asking me to do this. It's so difficult. Does he even know how to do it? And then the moment they find out you are aloof of those assignments, there's a lot of big issue. But the moment they know that he can also roll his sleeves, he's hands on, he's well grounded with all these things, they feel more at home with it. I found out myself too that people like it. So I'm quite impressed with that particular one because, for lack of a better word, it's trending these days in leadership. I think it's a good one. So I think our viewers should also copy that. Just copy that. It works like magic. So yeah. So what strategies do you use to foster collaboration and positive work culture within your teams? I know you have multifunctional teams, definitely, that you're looking after. And these days, we all use the word collaboration and all of that. So what are these strategies that helps you achieve collaboration within your multi-faceted teams?
All right, thank you. So what actually I look at primarily is the understanding of each and every role, every function in an organization. So like you just pointed out, there are multifunctional teams within the organization. And one key thing is to ensure that there's a synergy within all the teams.
Brilliant.
Between them, the synchrony and synergy. So for that to happen, we need to have a clear communication of the various job roles and job responsibilities. When there is that clear communication, everyone identifies with what exactly needs to be done, where it needs to be done, how it needs to be done. And at every point in time that you need to plug in a personnel, there should be a clearly stated job description that speaks to that role, and I would say a clearly stated performance indicator that speaks to how one is performing in that role. KPIs are set, so that way anyone that's working there has to understand what needs to be done and what is priority. I also understand how it interrelates with other functions as well. Now, when you have that in place and you're always having sessions where you come together to identify where there may be issues, impediments in the flow, blockages here and there, and you're always quick to resolve all those things, there is no way the system will not work very well. When there's ease of communication across different channels, one would be able to identify where there are issues. And as much as all the people that are working in the team appreciate the fact that their contributions are appreciated, are considered and appreciated, at any point they're always quick to express themselves freely with you. In a situation where one does not allow staff to express themselves, it makes them feel like they're not part of the team. And a lot of times they just fold into themselves and keep quiet. So we tend to allow ourselves to express freely across the teams, and that really helps.
That's quite strategic, and you can never overemphasize the value and importance of strong communication within
Yes,
teams.
yes.
It just goes a long way to drive, the vision further, and then you can achieve your goals. So we're going to delve into vision and strategy on your role. You said earlier that you've been on this seat for upwards of 5 years now. So yeah, so what's your vision for the next 5 years for Red Care HMO?
Okay. So for Red Care HMO, I see Red Care becoming, well, I would say one of the leading HMOs in Nigeria.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I would say the top of the leading pack. But then again, it's good to be ambitious, but as long as we're in that
Realistically
leading,
ambitious,
yeah,
yeah.
we're okay. Because I believe that as we continue to grow, we need to embrace some of the innovations that are coming into play, because the idea is to see how we can have an expansive access to qualitative healthcare for Nigerians. And in doing that, we need to adopt a lot of new ways. The old ways are not working. We've been in this HMO business for over 25 years now, and the percentage of uptake is still very low. Even with the regulator trying to impose it on Nigerians to subscribe to universal health coverage, the uptake is still low, and I believe that with the import of technology, the use of technology, there's a lot that can be done. We have embraced technology at Red Care HMO. Most of our operational functions are automated. Yeah, we have the human interface anyway, still looking at things, but I believe that with the use of technology, we get self-service in place. We get members that can have access to applications that would give a lot of services to them without them having to call the HMO anymore. You can do self-authorizations for services. You can do change of hospitals. You can do all of those things that would make it easy for you, to enjoy and have a seamless access to care within the HMO system. Even the hospitals, to improve on transparency of claims administration. The hospitals can see from time to time whatever is happening in terms of the utilization of the members that choose their hospitals, getting authorization themselves on the portal as they've been given access to by the HMO, and various things like that. So these are the things that are making the HMO more user-friendly to members, and I think that's the way that it will attract, the general population, to start to believe in it. So we intend to be there, taking the citizenry by storm. We need to make sure that we create awareness where people can begin to appreciate what exactly the HMO can do for them. It's about time that people realize that the finance, of taking care of healthcare, personal healthcare, can be very huge. But when you rely on the HMO can help you soften that, can help you cushion that, and make it more affordable to get qualitative healthcare, in Nigeria.
Readily accessible. All right. Thank you for that feedback, Dr. Moyosore. You sort of led me to my next question, which, I already itemized, but you've taken me there already, and I'll just go straight to it. So you spoke, sort of extensively right now about technology and how you're driving the Red Care platform with it, how you're getting results, and how you're delivering quality services to your enrollees, which is quite impressive and forward-looking for your brand. Being an experienced leader in the HMO space and then being backed up with medicine, you're a medical doctor, I would like for you to talk to us about trends that you can sort of envision, that you can see, and you think the industry should watch out for. What I mean is, okay, I know that several years ago, things were really manually done. But then people then moved into technology. Almost everybody now has the software stuff to do their claims and sort of run their operations, which is cool. But then what's the next thing? What should we watch out for? And I'm putting that to you because I consider you as one of the top guys in the industry. And I believe that no industry is going to move forward without the top guys really charging their intellect to think and sort of position the industry to say, I think we should be going this way. I think this is what they are doing in the West. I've compared notes with probably XX nation or XX institutions, and I think we should be thinking in this direction. So yeah, I'm putting it to you to talk to our viewers today that these are the trends and these are the things I think we should be looking out for in our own HMO industry in Nigeria that are going to be beautiful, that are going to make us happy, that are going to make us sustainable, and then make us, in the end, have successful businesses to run.
Okay. Well, that's speaking to the need for a public-private partnership, in
Okay.
the way of delivering qualitative healthcare to Nigerians. The truth is, the trend in the past has been that the private healthcare
Providers?
operators have been centered around corporate organizations. You see, the large retail opportunities out there have not really been, gotten
Explain.
into. So the truth is, there's a need for policies coming from the regulator that would speak to public-private partnership, where the several institutions, the formal sector, the informal sector, are now having the opportunity of enlisting, with the HMOs. Well, I understand that the regulator has their own HMO, policies for
Yeah,
coverage. The
packages. Yeah.
states are now coming up with the state-supported health insurance programs. But the truth is, the PHIs, the private-run HMOs, are still having a strong hold on how to deliver on all of this. So, with that partnership between the regulator and the private HMOs, I think we can achieve that universal health coverage. Well, by way of improving on the advocacy, the awareness, for people to understand what the HMO is all about, what healthcare access within this system is all about, what the gains are, then for people to have a trust in it. I think the bane of what we do right now is the fact that people don't trust the system that we have. So if people begin to appreciate what the values are, and people begin to trust, and there's healthcare financing coming from the government institutions, I think to a large extent we can say that the future holds a lot of huge promises for us, for Nigerians. If you look at the developed countries, like you mentioned, the Trump care, Obamacare of old, all those, should I say, structures
Yeah.
are hinged on the fact that there's a public funding going into it, even though there are still private HMOs still running these healthcare schemes, but there's a public run scheme that people can run to, to get access to quality healthcare at their basic level. So if that is in place in Nigeria, I believe that it's something that would take us to that level that we want to go, where everyone, they can beat our chest and say everyone in Nigeria can have access to qualitative health care. And if it's made compulsory, I think that's the way to go, if it's well funded too.
All right. That's brilliant. Thank you for that feedback. That would just take me to how involved you are aware of HIMCAN, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's like the major point of call when it comes to our industry, the health insurance industry, interacting with government. They are the voice, and I think all the HMO CEOs are like key stakeholders of HIMCAN. So is your HMO currently a member of HIMCAN?
Yes, so we're a
All
member of
right, you're a member
INCAN.
of HIMCAN. That's
Yeah.
good. So, Dr. Moyo, I would like for you to, how are you influencing the conversations from HIMCAN to the regulators? Because you sort of touched, those areas where you said things like funding, partnerships, regulatory, and all of those things can make us see something to look forward to in the industry. So how are you putting yourself out there? And this is why. The industry recently held the HIMCAN AGM, I think weeks ago. And I was there, I attended the meeting, and I recalled Dr. Awoshika, who is the chairman for Leadway, saying something like he drops important information on the HIMCAN group, and a lot of people just go quiet. He reported that as a feedback. And aside from him reporting that as a feedback, I'm also, in that group. And I noticed that those informations drop in and everybody just sort of faces their own business and act so busy. And what I think he usually drops, yes, I'm also, I'm not going to say I've been commenting, but I try to look at, some of the things they put in there, and they're quite informative, and there are things that I think we should, as industry leaders, begin to sort of talk about and sort of examine to see what we can get. So, Dr. Moyo, what I want to put to you today is, how have you been interacting with those information?
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
On behalf of Great Care.
Great Care. So, interestingly, we have so many HMOs in Nigeria. There are three different factions of the organizations that bring HMOs together. I know in Cannes, Lagos, there's one in Port Harcourt. I know there's one in the north as well. One thing I've observed over the years, yes, I've been there. I would say I've been kind of a quiet member. Yeah, reason being that a lot of times I see a lot of conflicting opinions that even I am not in, tandem with happening there. There's a lack of trust within the HMO system, where the HMOs find themselves competing strongly against one another. There is no true collaboration of HMOs in Nigeria. All of us are running around the same space, chasing the same businesses, trying to outdo ourselves, undercutting, and so many unhealthy practices that HMOs are doing in Nigeria. So it puts us at loggerheads with one another, in truth.
Yeah.
So when we find ourselves coming to meetings to organizations like IMCAN, yes, people go there for certain reasons. Reasons like there's an issue that's affecting the HMOs generally, and there's a need to consensually deal with them. But when people go there, you find that they don't really open up the true, intentions that they have there. They just go there to, run, sometimes listen to what others have to say, learn a few things about what's really going on, but they hardly share what they have in mind about their own HMO. Now, also remember that HMOs have various kinds of practices. There are HMOs that run the managed care concept. There are HMOs that do the health insurance concept. There are HMOs that do the TPA concept. So HMOs, some even do health techs, So they do different things in different ways, And at the end of the day, yes, the common goal is to ensure we get people to subscribe to access to qualitative healthcare via the health maintenance organization schemes. But the truth is, we have different approaches about it. And because we have different approaches, the way it hits us when policies come up and things happen, it hits us in different ways. So if the intentions are clear, we expect that by now, collectively, we should be able to auto-regulate ourselves. We should be able to self-regulate as HMOs, as the HMO group, as IMCAN. IMCAN should be able to put us together and we regulate ourselves. Look at how insurance companies regulate themselves. NICOM is there as an association that brings them all together and takes decisions that affect them. See how well they're doing. Now, all of them have a stable, a flat rate, where they for all insurance policies that they run, they get a percentage that's fixed. But in the HMO system, there's nothing like that. So there's no regulation, even from the super regulator NHIA, that speaks to the kind of policies that we can sell. The bottom line of our pricing. Now I see that it's coming up in the new guidelines. Those things are being addressed, but right now they're not being enforced. So we're still at the point of still struggling with having to sustain our businesses, doing whatever we can to make sure we stay, above waters. So it's a struggle that still is keeping us at loggerheads with one another. So we go to those meetings, eyeing each other and like, oh yeah, this is what's happening. But at the same time, we still want the best for the general, stature of the HMO body.
All right.
So but we will get there. I have a strong trust that if things are consistently looked into, we will get there. That promised land is very close. Everyone I speak to these days, my friends that I speak to at IMCAN, we're always talking about the same thing. How we can start to look towards self-regulation within the HMO industry. That would really help us.
To propel us all. That's good. All right. From to summarize what I hear you say, it's actually a need. looks to me like collaboration. It looks like at HIMCAN, which is the body, we need to sort of collaborate more effectively so that we can attain a goal. And I want to believe that the leadership is driving that. I really hope that their efforts count sooner than expected, so that it doesn't look as though we are just waiting forever.
Right.
So I think that's it. And I think, like you said, it can be done, it can be achieved. It's something that is driven by people, and I strongly believe that we can get there. So yeah, what are you truly excited about in this industry, and then in this business that you're leading as a person?
Right. As a person, I'll flash back to when I was a young medical student. When I was coming up, I used to look at my senior colleagues then, and I used to ask myself, what is the joy in what they're doing? Why are they doing what they're doing? What's the joy they derive in this? And at some point, I couldn't see it anymore. I couldn't see the joy they were deriving in.
Being doctors?
Not just being doctors, being clinicians.
Or being in the teaching hospital space.
Yeah, teaching, it's good to teach, but then again, having to just manage the people that come to the hospital, I felt that it wasn't enough somehow. Something inside me was looking for more. So as a young man then, I remember I got a journal, and I just wrote, different ideas. What can a doctor do beyond, clinical practice and all of that? So at some point, I dropped that journal somewhere. I forgot about it. I got distracted and I started doing other things. But one thing is, when I was leaving medical school, I remember in my yearbook when they were asking, "What do you want to be remembered for?" I put that I wanted to be remembered for being different. Because one thing I like to pride myself with is the fact that when I see people moving in one direction, I'm a lateral thinker. I don't want to move in that same direction because everyone is moving there, like you heard. I want to do something else so that I will stand out different from whatever everyone else is doing. So I wanted to do more than just being a clinician. So I looked at the public health, space opportunities there, and the impacts it was having. I loved that. The fact that you could look at the general population and take insightful decisions to better their health outcomes. I wanted to be a part of that. So I wanted to even also start to study public health. But by the time I joined the HMO, I saw that there was something else. I didn't really know about the HMO because it wasn't brought into our curriculum in medical school.
Yeah.
So we were not taught about the HMO way back. I pray it's now been introduced so that the medical students can know about this thing. Yeah. So when I was introduced to the HMO in 2006, and I found out exactly what the HMO was doing, I loved that. Reason being that I saw that it would also help in ensuring that people are able to have access to qualitative health care at affordable rates, And then the fact that if you look at the infrastructure of healthcare in a country like Nigeria, it's quite weak. When you look at the state of even the government hospitals, it's not something you want to write on about, because you go to the hospitals, the way you are attended to, something is just wrong about it somehow.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see how that could be improved on, how that could change. I'm happy the private healthcare system has really grown.
Yeah.
The private hospitals have begun to embrace those quality initiatives where they know that you have to take care of your patients, you have to use evidence-based, practices. International standards must be brought into play. So that way people appreciate the limits of what you're giving them, within what's available. So I believe strongly that, if we continue, with all this, we will be able to get the best healthcare services, even within the limits of country being a developing country. We're able to get the best international standards of care availed to citizens of Nigeria within Nigerian space.
Yeah, and that gets you excited.
Yeah, that's what I would like to be a part of. I'm happy to be a part of
that.
Yes.
All right, that's cool. So let's talk about your teams. How have you been able to sort of maintain high performance teams? Because I hear these days, I interact a lot with human resource people, and they say it's becoming like a plague, the workforce. Attracting, getting, sourcing, and retaining high performance teams is I think it's a headache to CEOs. I've also spoken to a couple of CEOs within the industry, and they've also complained about that. Are you experiencing anything related, and how are you able to run around it to ensure that your business is not affected in any way?
Okay, so it's a fact that the attrition rates are very high these days, and that's because, well, to a large extent, we also need to have healthcare professionals in our fold, and a lot of times you find them, well, jackpine to the developed countries to go and look for better livelihood. Even the ones that are not medically inclined are also jackpine. So the young generation seem not to have a trust in our system because of the remuneration that is not maybe so sufficient in a lot of ways. So for me, yes, we've experienced all of those challenges in the various units that we have here within the HMO. But what we do is to work with the Human Resources Initiative of picking the right people, at the point of interviewing for employment. Make sure that your interview is able to identify strong candidates that have passion for what they do.
I like the word.
So if you're able to get to pick people that have passion for what they want to do with you, then you bring them into your fold, employ them with very good remuneration. Now, remuneration doesn't have to be, you don't have to pay millions to make someone happy. Pay the basic. But when the person comes in, let the person appreciate the fact that there's an opportunity for you to grow. There's a career path, on the job.
See what they can achieve.
Yeah, see what you can achieve. Yeah, as you progress, see what is available to you.
Yeah.
And then when they come in, one key factor is inclusivity. Let everyone feel inclusive. Let their contributions be appreciated. Design teams that have functions that they can see the results of. Make them feel like they're part of something good. Make them, feel like they can express themselves at any point in time. So once you do that, once there's a career path, there's inclusivity, people get bonded to you. And even if there are other opportunities out there where they want to run to, they might still consider the fact that, look, there's a team I have here, which I'm responsible for. Why would I want to go to another team? So that's tie, that bond, that commitment, is what I believe that we need to really enshrine, imbibe as a culture within the organization to make sure that people stay with you. The truth is that sometimes people, when they find themselves in toxic environments, it's easy for someone to jump out. Some people even take pay cuts to go to another place. It happens, yeah. Some people jump ships for just 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira difference. And we're wondering how come. So, but if you find people that are tied to you because they feel they're part of your journey, they tend to stay with you for longer. I would say it's a challenge. It's still a challenge as I speak. But we keep seeing how we can, design ourselves and redesign ourselves to encourage the people that join our workforce.
All right, that's cool. So you've been navigating CCUs, Dr. Moyo, from way back. Yeah, so talk to our viewers about the strategies you've been deploying to ensure that your stakeholders fancy you, for lack of a better word. Yes, I'm using that word because up there, you actually need to be fancied because you are definitely not a magician. And yes, there's the boardroom language, there's all the stories, all the figures, and people just keep struggling up there. Back in the day, we used to say things like, oh, I need to be the boss, I need to be on top. And I'm tired of being a junior staff, and you will not be aware of the drama and everything up there. And then once you arrive there, you'll be like, oh my God, yes, we're Nigerians. It's always, it's not my portion. Backwardness is not for me, so nobody wants to go back to being a junior. However, a lot of people are struggling in the C-suite.
Right.
That's a fact. You are a doctor. A lot of people are also developing medical conditions as soon as they arrive at the C-suite. Things they never probably had, or they were probably not even prone to. For example, the commonest one, hypertension. And then they begin to live on those medications, sedentary lifestyle, forever sitting in extensive long meetings, and then the diabetes, the sugar, let me say sugar, whatever. Don't let me just say diabetes yet. They begin to sort of struggle with high level glucose in their bloodstreams. I hope that people don't increasingly get diagnosed. I hope so. So these things are happening in the C-suite. So I want you to lend a voice to that, to say, as much as people aspire to want to be successful and arrive at the C-suite, what is the game like up there? Talk to us, one, about how you are navigating it, and what is, because you've sustained, you've done 5 years and you've spoken about your vision for the next 5 years. It means to me that you are doing well there in terms of managing your stakeholders. So how are you able to successfully get them to fancy you? Permit me to use that word, because I've seen boardrooms where a CEO gets fired just because the key decision maker doesn't fancy his style. Yeah, and they are like, I think this guy needs to be replaced. There's this other guy that I see him with. I think that guy can do the job. And then people lose their jobs, and then the midlife crisis starts. This sounds like a lot, but wrap it up for us and tell us how you're navigating that.
Right, great. Yeah. So you can see I've been smiling a bit because I would say that question is a bit deep, and I don't know, it's quite tricky too. So the truth is, it's not a bed of roses. It's not been a bed of roses. Navigating board politics is a very tricky and tacky thing. Reason being that, the way the business owners think is a bit different from the way the operators think.
We're using the same word.
Yeah. So,
Without planning it.
the business owner sees just a few things. I want my business to grow. I need dividends from my business. Yeah, return on investments. I put a lot of money in this business and to get something back for it.
Definitely.
So, and they're not going to wait for whatever challenges you might be facing in the industry. They just want to get
your role
something
is to
back.
deal with the challenge.
Yeah, deal with that. That's why you're there.
That's your job.
So now, sometimes in the C-suite, you find that those challenges are real. And that's what speaks to a lot of people getting stressed out. No, those challenges are sometimes even beyond what a single person can deal with, even by way of being a managing director or whatever. So for me, I believe the strengths of someone that would succeed in the C-suite, would include someone being able, to collaborate effectively with other people that may have strengths that they do not have. When one starts to think like it's an island, when you start thinking that you can do it all alone, a lot of people tend to burn out.
Yeah.
A lot of people burn out in the C-suites, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's why you find that sometimes they won't get replaced. Now, the truth is, a good managing director of a company should identify first with his own area of strength, know your core strength. And anywhere you find that you're not strong in, be quick to find a professional that you can key into that role to fill in that gap that you may have. That way, you have a team that is awesomely complete. That way, you can navigate things better. Now, in all of that, remember, like you just mentioned too, the challenges are your responsibility to overcome. The board doesn't have to deal with that. It's your business to take care of whatever the challenges may be. So you find yourselves battling with that. Another thing you must do is, there are issues, there are challenges, don't mix them up. Issues are things that might be distracting you, but they are not your challenges. So you have to identify what the issues are and what the challenges are. And if you must deal with the challenges, deal with them professionally.
I agree.
They are sentiments, take them out of the system. Because a lot of times, sentiments have a way of weakening, the powers of control at the C level. Now, another thing is C-suites sometimes intoxicates some people. When you get into that position, you tend to want to use that autocratic, style to control those that are under you. And in doing that, a lot of times you lose the value that those people can provide to you. And you miss a lot of things. I think it's very important also for whoever wants to be a leader in the C-suite to also have that listening ear and also have that system that's able to get feelers, from within and even from without. So you can take insightful decisions. Insight is key. Without insight, a lot of people make mistakes. When you take all that stress home, you tend to get burnt out so easily. Be a normal human being. I appreciate the fact that you're a human being.
First of all.
Yes. Identify your areas of strength, identify your areas of weaknesses. Separate your challenges from the issues that may be around you. Face the challenges, find solutions to them, operational solutions, and then get people that can work with you to overcome all those challenges. Ensure you communicate effectively with the people that are directing your business. Remember, the directors are the governing council of that organization. They would be able to help, in so many different ways if you're able to communicate effectively to them. Let them know exactly what you need them to do so they can join you, in making sure that things go easy for you. When you don't have that, then a lot of times they are blinded from whatever you're going through, and then they're not able to help you. But when you have the rapport, it's easy for you to navigate the streets. I remember when I used to be at Oceanic Health, my directors were like accountants, internal auditors with over 30 years, 40 years, 50 years experience. So there's no way, nothing you're coming with in terms of figures that they don't understand more than you. So you talk here, talk there, at the end of the day, they just show you where all the weaknesses, in just a minute, they've shown you where the rubbishes are. So you have to now start dealing with that. So in a lot of ways, it's good to also, open yourself up to criticism. Yeah, don't be too defensive. It's not about being defensive about anything. If you have someone that's telling you where things are going wrong, look into it. Even if that is not right, look into what that person is telling you. One of the areas I have strength, I pride myself to have strength in is I'm able to forecast. And there's no way forecasting is good if you're not being proactive. Yes. So when you forecast, act in time before that thing comes to hit you. If you do that, then you shouldn't have any problems at all. Those are the things that I believe that would really be helpful, in navigating the C-suite.
All right, cool. That explains how you've been able to stay successful there. That's good. You wear a lot of caps, I believe, as a grown adult in Nigeria. It's given. Male figure, family, all of those things, your faith, and of course, the business. And of course, you have your personal interest, areas of interest, social life, and all of that. How have you been able to successfully balance work, life?
Oh, well.
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance. Well, we're still balancing it as we speak because
an ongoing process.
So you always need to be shifting.
Tell
and
us about your
shifting,
routine.
So
what's keeping you healthy, fit, and successful on your job?
Right. I was saying earlier that so natural me, Moyo, I tend to be introverted because I mind my business a lot. I tend to be quiet. I do my thing privately, and I'm okay with it. But I find myself, being social, on the flip. Meaning that at times when I need to interact with people on a social platform gathering, I find myself doing it very easily as well. So meaning that, yes, even though I say I'm primarily introverted, some part of me is extroverted.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people say, when they give references to how I am, how they perceive me, they say I'm amiable. I make friends easily. Yeah, I do that, but the truth is, the real me at home is very quiet. I'm always reading books or doing my own research. I have a hobby, archaeology. I'm into historical, research.
Really?
Yeah, so I do investigational archaeology. Yeah, to some extent, yes.
Oh.
So I do a lot of
you're
reading.
Documenting all of that.
Yeah, I document a lot of things like that. So
that's interesting.
So that keeps me, on the go as
you
well.
must have such a busy visual mindset.
Yeah, so I tend to be creative. I love the arts. I love philosophy. I love all of those things as well. My dad's a professor of history, so maybe I'm not sure if that's where it came from, but
it could be.
I've been like that since I was a
just
young boy.
These things. Yeah.
So, work-life balance. When I work, I tend to put myself into the work so much. Yeah, sometimes I wonder why I don't get burnt out. Because I could work from morning till night. I think it's because I have a strong passion. Yeah, for what I do. When I put myself into something, it's like I put myself 100%. Yeah,
so it's difficult to really get discouraged.
So I just keep doing it. Yeah, I just keep doing it until I get results, the outcomes that I desire to get out of it. So, but to balance it out with life, I have a family, So I tend to want my colleagues to close because I want my colleagues to also have that work-life balance. So we do it 9 to 5. So by 5 p.m., I expect my colleagues will close from work and go home and take care of their families respectively. But sometimes I stay back to put some things in order before I go. So I also tend to close by 6, 7. I tend to go home. When I get home, I'm not the kind of person that will dump my work and now focus on the family. So I tend to spend my time with my kids, my spouse, enjoying the home setting, doing everything, eating, having fun, watching their TV, doing homework, for the kids and all of that. So of course that helps the family bond,
Bond.
as well. Even sometimes my kids, they see me when I do, because sometimes I just free when I have free time, I just free back to work, do a little bit of work, they see me doing all of that when I do their homework. I'm also on my laptop. So
Doing
it's
your
like a
thing.
cultural thing that I've taken over the years, and somehow it's balanced out. So I don't get stressed, because I have those various exit
Yeah,
points,
sort
mind
of
exit points,
complete
So
360-degree
yes,
thing, working for you,
yeah,
giving you
working for
your
me,
sparks,
yeah,
making you
making me
happy.
happy. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
sometimes I do walks. Maybe I'm not doing as often as I need to, but I do exercise sometimes, and that also helps my blood to flow.
Yeah.
The sedentary lifestyle is not good for
It's
anyone.
tough. It's
So I
not
think all of us have
encouraged.
to really just wake up from that.
Definitely, yeah.
So I make sure I keep body and soul together, making sure that
That's pretty
I do all
cool.
of
That's
that.
pretty
It's
cool.
working for me. Maybe because of my
Obviously,
style.
you're
Yeah.
succeeding on your role, so that's it. That addresses all of that. So you're doing, I think you're managing things well. So that's pretty. Yeah, so are we coming close to rounding up? And what we usually do at the end of these sessions, two things basically around both brands. So we take you first. We like to say that what would you like our viewers, listeners, your own followers as well, to know about your brand, what you're selling, what you're doing? Sort of, you take a couple of seconds or a minute to promote the Red Cap brand if you're happy to do that. So that's the
Okay.
time.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. All right. So, well, Red Care is one of the leading HMOs in Nigeria, and Red Care is special in so many different ways. We're part of the Reddington Group of healthcare providers. There's the Reddington Group of hospitals, and then
Yeah.
there's the HMO. So what we pride ourselves with is the fact that we understand the environment where we practice, where we provide healthcare services. So we create healthcare plans and policies to meet the needs of Nigerians wherever they may find themselves. We offer our businesses to Nigerians in all the various strata, of should I say corporate life and even the informal sector as well. We have plans that give access to over 1,500 hospitals in Nigeria. We have plans that give access to even the Reddington Hospital group as well. So what we do is to ensure that our subscribers get access to international standards of care, world-class type of care at whichever of the hospitals they find themselves. We have a team of healthcare specialists within our system that also help to coordinate that. We have a medical advisory committee as well, within the Red Care HMO. So we create all these products, we provide benefits that are stereotyped to ensure that all the various subscribers we have get access to that top-notch care at all times they may need to get to the hospital. We also, provide preventative health care because we believe also that it's not about having to get sick before you get access to health care. So we believe that giving you enough information to ensure that, you stay healthy at home, or healthy at work is also something we're happy to do. We do that a lot with our clients to see how we can strengthen them with the information and also preventative practices that can keep them healthy at all times. And for those that find themselves having to go to the hospital, after the hospital care, we still also follow up to ensure the prognosis is good. So we have a customer experience team that handholds, our customers from the beginning to end of their journey. Well, no end in any way, it's into the life of their journey. So we ensure that we keep
All through the
abreast,
value
also
chain,
the value
basically.
chain, yeah, keep our subscribers abreast with the optimal, way of life. What our slogan says, experience a new world in caring. One of the days that people go to the hospital, the doctor just tells them la da dash, and they don't know what this is all about. No, we believe in the value agenda where the patient and the doctor, understand themselves totally, and the patient understands how the value of healthcare is being provided to him or her, at all times, and is also a part of that journey, also a participant in ensuring that the health outcomes are optimized. So the things that we would like to do. So we want as many people as possible to learn about Red Care, to subscribe to our Red Care scheme, to enjoy the services within, to get the best of healthcare services in Nigeria, to experience the new world in caring. That's our promise to you. We hope to see you. You can subscribe to our platform easily. You can go to our website, or you can just call our call center. You can write an email to info@redcarrychemo.com. We're here to serve you. So please, we'll be expecting you all. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moyo. That was quite extensive about your brand. I can see that you're definitely connected to the brand. I could feel the passion while you spoke. And to our viewers, he has dropped the way you can reach out through their info mail, which he just mentioned. And I believe they have the backup system that would be responding. Would you want to share the website or any social handles?
Well, the website is just www.redcarrychemo.com.
Okay,
Very
if you
easy.
go in there, I believe you can find all other social handles that you can reach them through. And if you're interested in reaching out to Dr. Moyo after this session, you can go through the info email, and I believe you should be able to get his feedback directly.
Very much so. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so we'll be coming towards the end, and I think about the last question, and that resonates with our own brand. So yeah, I like to say that Sparks and Blues was created basically to enable us, inspire the youth, because we came to realize that a lot of people require clarity around forging ahead with career, forging ahead with interest, pain points, and just trying to say, how do I find my feet around my world? What next after this phase? What next after this stage? And we also saw that the trends, out there these days with the youth, and let me say, majorly the younger ones, you see people saying things like, I just want to go into entertainment. I want to be an influencer and things like that. So we found out that people are really missing it because, we look at the Davido and the Burna Boys, Wizkid, and how many of those can we really get, And whilst we embrace that as Sparks and Blues, like my son is an upcoming DJ, so we embrace all those things. However, we are putting out these words to let our youth, especially in Africa, know that there is still real life in a career. And that is why we are showcasing people like you that are achieving, even beyond your chosen field. You're running a business. Ideally, you should be a clinician working in a business. Yes, clinicians can run businesses, but you are here successfully driving an institution, and that is a good one. So we are putting these matters out there so that our youth can get inspired and still go back to the fact that even if you want to chase entertainment and all of these beautiful things, try as much as possible to have something that you can fall back to when things change. I remember using pen pal during our time. Where is it today? So this Instagram that is driving everybody, we don't know what's going to happen in 25 years. There was a time that Instagram shut down for 24 hours or less, and the whole systems were going crazy. I was speaking to some guy yesterday, and I said to him that, what is going to happen to your business if Instagram shuts down? And all of those, do you people think, have you started thinking and all of those things? So that is part of what Sparks and Blues is doing. We want people to be aware that there is still something called real life outside the internet, for lack of a better word. There's something called reality outside the entertainment world. Everybody is not going to go in there. And of course, I know we all hear the beautiful stories, occurring in that industry, how challenging it is to get up there, the things going on and what people get introduced to and how they miss it in life. So we are putting this out so that our youth can work on their confused state of mind to say, oh, I listened to this lovely guy looking, well, and speaking about his progress, his successes. He's a trailblazer. I think I can channel my energies to this area. I also want to have a profession, and then I can also still find a way around my entertainment passion. This is not to say that entertainment is not good enough, but we want people, especially parents, to be able to sort of direct their words, their children in a better way, to say that don't miss it. Don't say, because those days people used to sort of retake WAEC, retake JAM. I think it's easier these days. And don't say, because I didn't get my maybe course of study, I'm going into music, which is beautiful. Music is good. People are succeeding. But then if you realize that it's not really paving way for you, or you are not really getting along, as it were, then you will be able to go back to what you studied, right? So that is what we are sort of preaching. We want people to know that a lot of Nigerians in diaspora and globally, and even in other clients, are making great life experiences, are succeeding in having a career, forging ahead with work, and they are still able to even penetrate entertainment as well. So why not, if that is not the best way to go? So that is what we are doing at Sparks and Blues, and we are glad and impressed that we've been able to sit down with Dr. Moyosore Olomola, who is the MD CEO at Redcare HMO today, to talk to us about how he's been navigating the C-suite successfully for over 5 years now. And he also spoke to us extensively about his vision for the next 5 years, how he's been succeeding managing multifunctional teams at the Redcare HMO. He has also spoken extensively about how you can reach out to them if you're interested in partnering with their brand. So yes, that is all about us at Sparks and Blues. And my final question to you, Dr. Moyo, would then be, Sparks is those beautiful things that gives you the butterflies, those things that make you happy, that you can relate with. When you are alone, you can laugh and say, oh, wow, I got this one. While the blues, as you know, you're a doctor, but this is not to talk about depression as it were in mental health. The blues, for us, are those things that sort of just get you off, like you could be in a meeting, a comment, or things, that happen around work or around whatever, life generally. Those things that make you gloomy, that make you feel low, and the like. So, what has your sparks and your blues been around navigating the C-suites? Just to close, you can start with the blues.
Okay.
Or the sparks.
Well, first, I'd like to appreciate Sparks and Blues management and the group for what they do, because I see a lot of value in getting all these insights out for the listeners and the young people to learn a lot from the experiences that you're sharing on your platform.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I would say, there's a lot of Sparks and Blues, not just within the C-suites. It's there all over the career. And well, let me say, in so many ways, the blues that I feel from time to time, is when something I've been working so hard on, is not giving the desired outcome. So I get so disappointed. I feel like I've wasted a lot of time. I've wasted years, So all those feelings, they're not healthy feelings, but to a large extent, failure is not a loss. In a lot of ways, we can learn from failure experiences. So when you do something and you fail, at achieving what you desire, what you want, it's an opportunity to get yourself up again and do it in some other way, or do something else. Get yourself up and start again, and then you might get the desired outcome from it. Now, one thing I would like our young people to know is that at any point in time that you realize yourself, you can start to be an entrepreneur. Yes, there are courses, or should I say areas, where our parents might have carved out for us because of their wish for the best for us. I didn't want to be a doctor to start with. I wanted to be an engineer when I was a kid, because I was very good at mathematics. I still am very good at mathematics. So, but my mom wanted me to be a doctor, so somehow she channeled my head into wanting to care for people, and because I really was a caring guy, I naturally just, shifted into it. So, one thing I wish everyone would do as early as possible is look at the area where your passion drives you, and start an entrepreneurial business around there. We were not taught how to be entrepreneurs in school. I think it's a culture, it's something that we need to begin to look towards, where we can teach the young ones how to start business at a very early age. I know now some things have been introduced into the curriculum of education in Nigeria. I see some vocational training are now being introduced. So maybe it's going to bring out this sparks in people. Because when you do what you're naturally tuned for, you tend to perform excellently at it. Look at these footballers. See how much they make. Come on, they're playing football. They enjoy playing football. They train to exceed at it. And they make a lot of money from it. Yeah, so that's how one would feel when you're doing something that you like to do, and you're getting a lot of returns for it. And because it's something you'd like to do, your passion will be 190% on it.
Why not?
Yeah, and therefore you just get exceedingly very well at it. That's why you talked about the singers. Yeah, they're doing what they like to do and they're getting the best of the world from it. So I want everyone that is young as you might find yourself, to start looking into something that you love to do, something you believe in strongly, and start to create that, place for yourself. Just start to grow yourself gradually. I started out being an entrepreneur at a senior age, and I wish I started out 20 years ago. I wonder where I would be now if I had done that. So, started as early as possible, and I'm sure you would be happy with yourself thereafter. So my sparks are in the success factors in all my endeavors. I do a lot of things, and in a lot of ways, I feel happy and grateful when I see the outcomes as I desired it to be. I'm happy with that. The blues, they come and go. Don't feel bad with failures. Pick yourself up and start off again. You'll get there someday soon.
I like the fact that you said they come and go. That's the message we're also driving. Don't get yourself swamped in your blues. I like to tell people that, you know what, the blues will be there. They will keep coming. Ensure that part time you are filling up your sparks jar, so that when the blues comes, the moment you pour in your sparks jar, it just sort of takes it down, and then you are just fine.
Right, and also, in whatever way you can, don't keep yourself in a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
Always have a growth mindset.
Yeah.
Always put yourself in that space for growth. Don't stay in one place. Always open yourself up to opportunities to grow. That also is a very helpful.
So it's been a great time chatting with you, Dr. Moyosore Olomola. I think our viewers today would be definitely well inspired, and they would have gained a lot from your wealth of experience. So thank you so much for stopping by with us today at the studios. We had a great time chatting with you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.